What's up guys, Dave Amos Jr. here, and in this video I'm going to show you the 2 easiest ways to cool your water in any cold plunge. For this video I'm going to be using my ice barrels to demonstrate, so let's get right into it. So the first way and the easiest way to keep your water consistently cool, so anytime you want to get in your cold plunge, the water is exactly where you want it, is by using a chiller. Now in this case I have an active aqua chiller. I do have a video where I compare different chillers. If you'd like to see that, I'll post that at the end of this video. But using a chiller is a surefire way to keep your water consistently cold. But not only that, you're gonna have a pump and you're gonna usually have a filter too, so it's gonna keep your water cleaner longer as well. Now the second and most common way is gonna be the traditional way, and that's just using ice. Now all you do when you're using ice is you literally just throw ice into a barrel of water. You're gonna need a lot of ice. Now when I first started cold plunging, this is how I started. I had a horse trough. I filled it up with hose water, which here in Florida, the hose water was about 85 degrees. I went to the grocery store and I bought 10 bags of ice. 10 bags of ice cost me somewhere around 50 bucks. I took that ice, I put it in the horse trough, and it was cool, it was ice, it was nice, but in about 30 minutes it was hot again, because here we are in Florida. So using ice is a good way to cool your water if you're only gonna be doing this every once in a while. An inexpensive way, sometimes. In my case, I was cold plunging every day. I was taking an ice bath every day, so it was not an inexpensive way for me at all. Lucky for us, Ice Barrel has just came out with something pretty cool. These are called their ice blocks. It's a silicone and a steel enforced ice block creator. It's pretty insane actually. So this is a massive 1.5 pound block of ice. It takes about a day to get cold all the way through. It cools that water down really fast. So let's go ahead and get it out. Oh dear. And you have this massive block of straight up ice. The cool thing about this is it's 1.5 pounds of solid ice, so it's not gonna melt as fast as the tiny little ice you're gonna get in a bag. A couple questions that I get, because I posted a couple Instagram videos of me using these, are do you get in the water when the ice is in the water, or do you wait for it to melt? I would get in the water while it's melting, because it's kind of like boiling the frog. You get in the water, it's not very cold, and then slowly it just gets colder and colder and colder. Depending on how many ice blocks you use, it's gonna cool that water down really fast. But you definitely don't wanna wait for it to melt, because once it melts, it's gonna start getting hot again. You wanna get in there when that temperature is at its lowest point. Now, a couple things to also note: when you are just using ice, the water doesn't have any circulation. So the water will get pretty nasty pretty fast. The cool thing about ice barrels, it makes it really easy to clean. There's a spigot down at the bottom, so all the water can drain out and you can refill it as often as you want. Recommended, a lot of people who just use ice barrel for their ice baths is changing out that water every week so that you can keep that water nice and clean. You don't want to be getting in super nasty water, and unfortunately when you don't have any circulation, that is kind of what happens. But as you can see, this ice block is just sitting here subtly melting away, cooling down this water. And I do have a few more of these, so when I do want to take a traditional ice bath, I can fill this tub with ice and these ice blocks, and it gets really cold really fast, which is nice. If you're watching this on a TV, you can scan this little QR code. It's going to take you to Ice Barrel's website, so you can get any more information on the Ice Barrel if you'd like. Another cool thing is it's going to take you to my discount code link, which is going to save you about 175 bucks, sometimes a little bit more. Now you can really tell the difference. So I have a submersible pump. I'm going to be doing a video on the difference between submersible pumps and inline pumps. I really do prefer the submersible pumps, and I'll explain that why in that video. But basically the submersible pump down at the bottom is going to suck the water from the bottom up through a filter. It's going to go back through another filter. It's going to go into the chiller, and then it's going to come out of the chiller cold. I have it set at 49 degrees, and this is a straight 49 degree stream of water. What I do also like about this setup, and this is a DIY, I did this myself. It's very simple. I've helped hundreds of people around the world do this exact same setup, and I'm not kidding. What I like about this too is where I have the hose, it pushes oxygen down into the water, which is going to also help create a cleaner environment for this water. So really do love this DIY setup. The water's clean, the water's cold, and it's always ready for me. So as you can see the difference here, circulating water versus the stagnant water with just the ice. So for a little explanation of what a chiller does, a chiller is basically a refrigerator. All this does is the water is going to come out of that pump. The pump is going to move the water through a filter and then into the chiller. The chiller doesn't have a pump built in. There are some chillers on the market that are all-in-ones that you can buy from other companies. I'm not gonna not recommend those, but I know what works and I know what I prefer. I prefer this setup. The tubing's bigger, the pump is more powerful, the chiller's more powerful, and it keeps my water cold even in the dead middle of the summer. So I'm a big fan of the Active Aqua Chiller because it's been tried and true. I've had it for over a year and this thing works like a champion. But what a chiller does is the water is going to run through a bunch of coils inside this chiller. This chiller is going to turn on when it needs to turn on. Right now it's not on. So it's not on 24/7. It's only on when the water starts to warm up. And it's going to cool that water down to your set temperature. This chiller can set all the way down to 39 degrees, which is very difficult using ice in Florida to get your water down to 39 degrees and keep it there long enough. So this chiller is going to do the work for me, cool my water, and then it's going to circulate back into the ice barrel. Depending on the size pump, the size tube, and the size chiller you use, you can actually get your water down to 39 degrees in the middle of the day, in the middle of the heat, but you can also set it anywhere above that as well, which is kind of nice. You can taper it down based off the exact temperature that you're looking for, whether you're a beginner at cold plunging or you're advanced. It's really nice to be able to set that temperature. And that's the part about using just traditional ice that's a little difficult, is you don't really know how much ice you're going to need to set that temperature to a temp that you're going to be comfortable with, but also a temp that's going to challenge your body. Okay, so I mentioned the two options. One is using ice and one is using a chiller. There is a third option. I don't typically recommend this option because there are a lot more safety hazards. I know a lot of you do this, but that's using a chest freezer. That's using a legitimate refrigerator, sealing all the cracks. There's a little bit of DIY that has to go into making this work, sealing all the cracks, filling it with water, and jumping in it. You can get the temperatures even colder than you can with a chiller, which is a plus. The only problem is there's really no circulation, and there's a lot of other things you have to do to keep your water clean, and it's a little bit more difficult to drain and a little bit more maintenance. But hey, if it's working for you, that's great. Matter of fact, I'd like to know, if you don't mind, comment in this video if you use ice, a chiller, or a chest freezer. I just wanted to show off a few of the easiest ways so that if you are somebody out there who's considering getting into cold plunging, you know it's not that difficult to do it and you can go ahead and get started. Now, if you're like me and you like to jump into something that you see benefits in head first, I'm going to encourage you to go check out my friends at Ice Barrel. I do have a discount code. It's MAUS, M-A-U-S. You can use that. It'll save you $175. Sometimes they have discounts even more. They always kind of do a surprise for my discount code. It's really cool. And what's cool to know is, like, I've helped a lot of people get into cold plunging, so thank you so much for your support. If you do use my discount link, it saves you money. It also helps my channel grow. It is an affiliate link. So check out the Ice Barrel. These are the Ice Barrel 400. This is the original Ice Barrel. It is taller. It is meant for people who are a little bit taller. They do have an Ice Barrel 300 that's also shipping now. It's fully insulated. It's a little bit shorter. There's some really cool benefits to that. I should have mine any day, and I will be doing a deep review on that too. So go ahead and check those out. They're shipping now, and use discount code MAUS to save yourself a little bit of money. Now, I do think we also need to talk about price. As I told you earlier, my first time cold plunging, I spent about $50 on ice, and that was for a 1 session use, and the ice was melted. If you have an ice maker, a commercial ice maker, or access to a lot of ice, going that route might be the best bet for you. If you live in a climate where it's extremely cold most seasons, you might just need to get yourself an ice barrel and let that thing just soak in the snow. However, for most of us who live in the warmer climates, like I live here in Florida, the chiller was the best route to go. When I did the math, I would pay this thing off in less than 2 months based off of how many ice baths I was doing and how much it was costing at the time. Chillers have gotten a little bit more expensive now, so if you're looking forward to getting yourself a cold plunge, you might want to go ahead and check that out now before the prices continue to increase. There's a lot of companies coming out and there's a lot of competition coming out. So right now on Amazon, this is a 1 horsepower Active Aqua chiller, and you can get it for around $1,300. A pump costs $50, the tubing costs $20. The most expensive part is going to be the chiller. And if you want to make some massive ice blocks, check out Ice Barrel's ice blocks. That'll also be on a link in the description below. You can check those out too. Makes a really nice big chunk of ice, keeps that water colder longer. But as far as price goes, I would say if it's something you're going to be doing on a daily basis and you don't have a commercial ice maker in your garage, going the chiller route is definitely the way to go. Haha, no better way to start your day than a cold plunge. In closing, I do want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button. It helps other people see it. If you have a question I didn't answer, please post that in the comments below. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, maybe consider doing that. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day, and God bless. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you enjoyed this video and if you have any questions on the chillers that I recommend, check this video out right here. This video I go over the chillers that you should be looking into. There's a lot of options out there. Don't waste your money on the wrong one, and check this video out right here.